Oh, Mother Saint Beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and nations. May the experience of happiness be separate from suffering and heavily. I will establish them in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. O Mother Sentient Beings, boundless as the sky. O Mother Sentient Beings, especially those enemies who hit me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and nations. May the experience of happiness be separate from suffering and heavily. I will establish them in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. Nala dangwara zebeda, nubara zebege, torba dang damje jembe, barda jubara zeba, damje jezo zebe, manam kada nyambe, zemje damje dewa dande, dungarar dandra, nyorda lana meba, yanda bara zobe zanju, rumbo je do bara za. Thus, under I achieve enlightenment. I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and the mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and the mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and the mind. We take refuge in the Kandaru Lama and the lineage Lamas. We take refuge in the deities of the mandalas of Yadams. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excelling order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Dakas and Dakinis and the Dhamma gardens, possessors of the eye of wisdom. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma and likewise in the example of the Bodhisattvas. As previous Buddha's ambassador enlightenment and progress on the Bodhisattva's path. I too, for the benefit of all sentient beings, giving birth to Bodhicitta, and apply myself to complete the stage of the path. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent. I take refuge under enlightenment reach by the merit of Janarashtra and other good deeds. May I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering, the causes of suffering. May they never be separate from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. I bow down respectfully with my body, speech, and faithful mind to all Tathangatas in the 10 directions. Those who have already reaching the Tathangata state, those who are reaching at it present, and those Tathangata state to come. Through the power of Samanthabhada's prayers, may all Buddhas manifest vividly in my mind. I prostrate to them, multiplying my body as many times as there are atoms of the earth. In each atom, I visualize as many Buddhas as there are atoms, surrounded by less countless Bodhisattvas. Thus, all space is filled with Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. I praise all Buddhas through manifesting, chanting, expressing the great ocean of the excellent qualities. To all Buddhas, I make offering of various pure flowers, flower garlands of music, anointing oils, manifesting lake, and fragrant incense. I make offering to them of fine garments, perfume and purple, poured high as a momeru, and orange most beautiful way. I visualize the highest, most extensive offerings, and offer them with great faith to all Buddhas. I prostrate to them Buddhas and make offerings to them following the deeds of the great Bodhisattva Samanthabhada. I confess to you, Buddhas, whatever negative actions I have committed due to the power of anger, desire, and ignorance. I rejoice in the merit of all the Buddhas and the 10 directions of the great Bodhisattvas and the Pakika Buddhas. Those who have attained Aharasha, those who have entered the path of Aharasha and all other beings. I request to all great protector and the Buddhas to turn the highest way of Dharma as a light dispelling the darkness of beings in the 10 directions, leading them gradually to the enlightened states. I supplicate those Buddhas intending to pass into Parinirvana to living long for as many eons as there are atoms of the earth in order to benefit all beings. Whatever merit I have gathered through prostrations, offerings, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying, for the sake of enlightenment of all sentient beings, or this I dedicate. The ground is sprinkled with the scented water and strewed with the flowers. It is adorned with the Meru, the Spring Mountain, the four continents, and the sun and the moon. As a Buddha fair, I offer it. May all sentient beings attain the happiness as a Buddha fares. To the Lama who possesses the three kayas, I offer water in the sacred offerings. With my body where and all that is visible, please grant me the supreme realization enlightenment. Whatever merit I have gathered through prostrations, offerings, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying, for the sake of enlightenment of all sentient beings, all this I dedicate. Om Guru Rina Mendra Bunza Manga Zamandra Zavaran Samaya Hong. I call refuge, O name of the world. Your fame provides the 3,000 words. You are the victor, Vajradhara, with adore. I bow at the feet of Father Njiti Sungo. Continue nothing with no one but you. Compassion one grant your blessing. Dispel the darkness that surrounds my heart. Please bless me so that I can realize the unlimited nature of mind. Please stand aware of the Dharma of the true vehicles and their combination according to disposition and likewise the mental capacity of sentient beings. So now we go to Manjushri, page 32. Long press to Manjushri. His wisdom is brilliant like the sun, free of the clouds of two words, and perceive the various steps of knowledge in the true nature. For this reason, he holds the wisdom text. His heart, he has compassion for all beings who suffer from the darkness of ignorance and the purging of samsara. Like a thunderclap, he awakens those who are sleeping in ignorance and losing the charm of karma. Through the 60th branch of Haramana speech, he wears the wisdom silver to cut the settling of suffering and to dispel the darkness of confusion. In the Buddhist hour form, is pure from beginningless time, fully accomplished in the 10 levels and perfect in the body of all knowledge. I supplicate you, Manjushri, adorned by the 112 Sons of Buddha, to dispel the darkness of my ignorance. Om Arabazana de 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 Arabazana de Om 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 Arabazana de 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 Om Arabazana de Om Wange Joramo, Wange Joramo, Wange Joramo. You who are the perfect, beautiful body, those flame of wisdom blesses, and dispel the darkness of worldly ignorance, are posted before you and praise you, Manjushri. Tamge tuje shaje reisen rong yinje mado deje onjong ba serje lembo tawar jibe ke shaje jarbe shala zorwan de romen jeje yes de dorjen janjen de lo naro tang marba malai jeje gambo ba Pamo Druba Jorwa Indi Gombe Kaja Lama Nala Zorwa Rome Jija Yenja Bobdane Tizom Sanje Genja Ngo Nye Ransan Jiga Ngonson Donzebe Sawe Lame Yala Zorwa Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Rinpoche.
Morning.
Morning, Kempo.
Morning, precious Kempo.
Hi.
Morning.
Living Buddha.
So
Morning.
now I'm going to share with you stage of meditation, waking the mind. First chapter is 4 thoughts meditation. So yesterday I talked to share with you is how to meditate 4 thoughts that turn the mind. The 4 thoughts meditation has 4 different levels. So yesterday we talked about precious human body meditation, precious human body meditation. Then precious human body is very hard to get, and also it's impermanent, easy to lost. So that's the reason today we're going to talk about impermanent meditation. Yesterday I just shared with you the precious human body meditation helps us very joy life, good life, happy life. Long as you recognize precious human body, then no longer you are stuck with the suffering. So that's meditation. Yesterday we talked about all these different realms. We have to cultivate that. So you cultivate that, meditate, and also arise compassion. Sometimes you get the kind of feeling, like feel a little bit sad. Feeling also could be arise because you see other beings suffering. But that feeling sad is actually kind of feeling sad, or kind of sometimes you can fears. So that is a positive, actually positive sad and positive fears. So that helps you become more connected with the Dharma. Negative fears, negative sad is removed by positive sad, positive fears. It's good, Long as you have arise positive sad, positive fears, introduced to negative fears, negative sad. So then you become more put effort to practice cultivating the yesterday I shared with you, freedoms. Become you are no more any fears, no more sad. So free from fears, free from sadness. So positive fears, positive sad really helps you remove all the negative sad and negative fears. So until that, we have to put effort to meditate, practice. Then, you really truly recognize, oh, we are lucky, human being, body is precious us. So then also, even reborn human beings, so cannot be attached to that. If you have become attached to that, and that's also positive is you taking into the negative. So that's the reason we have to free from attachment. What method is no longer attached to our precious human body, which is a method, what do we have to practice? We have to practice meditate impermanent, cultivate meditation impermanent. So that's why here, even though we have obtained this body of freedoms and adornments, so we have become a freedom, 10 adornments, it will soon disintegrate. Therefore, we should contemplate the reality that no one has never escaped death. It's impermanent meditation is really beautiful. Also, it's benefit powerful. It's really powerful, impermanent meditation. So really helps, impermanent meditation remove our suffering. So where is the suffering come from? Cause. So we're not talking about the result, Result is we cannot remove. We have to remove the cause. Where is the suffering come from? Cause. So suffering come from strong attachment and desire. So long as you are strong attachment, desire, you don't have any wisdom. 100% you are become blind due to ignorance. So you meditate impermanent, the antidote to, of course, into the ignorance, and you remove the ignorant, result is wisdom is arise. Wisdom is arise. And also impermanent meditation, antidote to attachment and desire. So when you meditate this impermanent, less attachment, less desires. So then you are less attachment, less desires, you are less suffering. Because where is the suffering come from? Due to strong desire and attachment. So this also helps you, your life is become more easygoing, like flexible and not stuck with suffering. Long as you meditate impermanent. Then you also become really taking care of your life. You really taking care of others too. Sometimes you get misunderstanding, oh, everything is impermanent, I don't care, right? That is wrong, misunderstand. So long as you know it's impermanent, you really care. You really care about yourself, you really care about others. And then due to that, your life has become meaningful, go to right direction. So sometimes this meditation, like we talk about impermanent and talk about precious human body, cultivate all these freedoms. People get sometimes fear and like get more fear sad, and then they think, I don't want to do that. I cannot use that. This meditation bring me little suffering. So that is misunderstanding. You're not using right direction. Your meditation is not going to right, path. So your meditation, these meditations antidote to cause this order, sufferings. That's why temporarily sometimes you get fears. So you go through that, then you get it's permanent, free from suffering. So that's the reason here. Sometimes when we meditate impermanent, then people think, oh, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to know because I want to be permanent. So that's actually really doesn't help you anything. Yeah. And of course you wanted that, but you have to know. So you have to know your life is truth. Not just close your eye, right? You have to know truth. You know your life is truth, then you can go to right direction, right path. So you can then really know how to take care in this life, and also you know how to take care in the future life if you really know the truth. The problem is due to attachment, and then people don't recognize impermanent. So it's become then that causes of suffering. Whole life is a suffering. Whole lives go through miserable. If who knows impermanent meditation, the suffering never affected to that person. So yesterday I talked about, like we meditate precious human body is a protection. Same like this impermanent meditation is also our protection. Protection from the suffering. And this life protection and the future life protection is more permanent protection. So we need something permanent protection, not temporary protection, which doesn't stay too long, also become temporary protection is the causes of suffering, not give you true happiness. That's why this impermanent meditation give you true happiness, bring the true happiness. But you have to go through a little bit, it's a hard and difficult shape, like because due to our attachment. So you have to go, like investigate, listening, meditate, and even you don't want to, want to meditate impermanent, you go through that, then you get result. That's why therefore we should contemplate the reality that no one has never escaped death. That is 100% truth, right? It's all this teaching is reality, truth, not create something, Buddha creating something, making his followers scared and nervous. Yeah, he only just share truth. If you really know the truth, then you know how to follow your life truly. That's why here, no one has never escaped death. So no one escaped death. We think about million years ago, until now. Who is free from death? Anyone you can show examples, only one person, one animals, zero. We cannot show anyone example. So we know, everything is impermanent. See, no one has never escaped death because that is reality, truth. Even you don't want to hear impermanent, but you cannot escape this. Yeah, so you have to go through this, then you know better. If you're going to journey long way on the path, then you know better the road, how to follow. Yeah, what you need. If you don't know, then very hard and difficult. You know, you have a GPS, right? Then you know, like guide yourself how to go through the right path. So like that, we know everything's impermanent. No one is free from death. So then we have to learn how to cultivate this, how to meditate this. In addiction, since the body is conditioned, when our time comes to die, we will not be able to prolong our stay in this life for even a moment. So our body is conditions, means a compound of phenomena, not permanent. So all compound of phenomena together, that means comes together, it's become one day go separate. So same is like today we gathering here, we comes together, and then this meeting is going to end after 2 hours, right? But impermanent, we can gathering again tomorrow and the next week. So see, you know impermanent, you know the future life. So that's also good thing. We have hope there, something, we can do something, future life, good things. If we don't have a good future life, then what are we going to do? It's nothing benefit. Whatever you do is nothing benefit. So we have future life. That's also bring the good thing, hope, future, or I want to be joy, happy. So main point here is everything is a compound of phenomena. Is nothing is a independent there, or is dependent. Everything is dependent. So that answer is for everything. Not talking about our human being's body. They're talking about all these phenomena. Everything is a compound of phenomena. So then is compound of phenomena is impermanent, not permanent. So then when our time comes to die, so this body is also compound of phenomena, is 5 elements comes together, so gathering and then consciousness. So we say I am, this is my body, I am, so we have I and the self. One day, all those 5 elements dissolve to 5 elements again. So then that time, we have to leave this body. So consciousness have to take another birth again. So we have to find a new body again. So like same is a change, the old house change to new house. You change it to old car, change it to new car, right? It's good thing happening too again. If you really know, death is not that suffering because you're going to change like something new again. So you know death means gone, you come back again. You get something new again. Yeah. That's also for beginners, good thing. They knows, okay, die means not gone, coming back again. Then of course, like practitioner coming back also, then it's not great. It's not joy that. So they wanted to liberation, free from samsara. So that's why this and permanent meditation brings temporary happiness, like bring good life in future life. Then impermanent meditation bring future life liberation. So in induction sense, the body is a condition. When our time comes to die, we will not be able to prolong our stay in this life for even a moment. Then we cannot stay actually permanently in even this body's moments. So when we was born, then every day close to the death. So no, life is longer and longer. Whatever you do doesn't matter. You just every day close to the death. And then every hour is close to death. Every minute is close to the death. So because it's our life is cannot stay even like moments. See, think about like hours. You cannot control the time, right? It's going. The 1 hour needed 60 minutes. 6 minutes is step by step. Just continue. So like that, our life is like changing minutes. So we see the actually gross level impermanent, but we don't see subtle level impermanent. We don't recognize. So first, beginners have to meditate gross level impermanent. If you gross level impermanent, think about the summer, winter, and spring, autumn. All is a change, seasons change. And then think about morning sun arise east and evening sun go this, sunset in the north, west, I think west. So that's all is impermanent. Sun is not always be in the arise in the east. They cannot stay there all the time, right? It's going to evening sunset. So that's it's like cyclic existence. So 24 hours, one cyclic existence. Like that, our life is going like that too. So when we was born, and then it's going to die, it's like sun is arise, and then going to sun is sunset. So we know when sun arise, we know when going to sunset, but our life is more permanent than that because we don't know when we die. It's unpredictable. No one has certainty. Everything's uncertainty. So we don't know we die today or tomorrow, or we're going to stay another 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years. No one has guarantee. No one has a certainty. Everything's uncertainty. Everything's impermanent. So this, when you meditate impermanent, that's really actually helps us and wanted to put effort to practice. This is not talking about to create you fear, okay? If you really knows, then become fear for the death. First, you hear, of course, like beginners and feel a little bit scared and nervous, talk about the death. And you investigate more and you get more knowledge, you practice more impermanent, then become no fear for death. Become you are free from, free from fears for death. You don't have fears for death. Then also you meditate impermanent, no longer, you are stuck with suffering because you recognize everything's impermanent. Whatever situation comes, you use that your practice. You taking that is all on your path. That is all is like past we can learn from all the masters, practitioners follow that, they did that, then that they did that, follow that way, and they get the goal free from actually death, free from fears, no fears for death. So that's become then called true practitioner. Impermanent meditators, no fears for death. Milarepa said, if you have fears for death, you are no practitioner. He said, I have really fear for death. That's the reason I look in my teacher, I found my teacher, I receive teaching, I practice. He said, I meditate, no, I am free from fear from death. So no fears for death. So like that, he says, like, practitioner cannot be fear for death. Practitioners, when they die, is liberating, actually called liberation. It's practitioner when they die is joy and happy. Their higher level practitioners liberating. Then of course, like even impermanent meditation, you are not higher level practitioner, but you get something new again. You change old guest house to change to new guest house. So that's also good, right? Yeah, so we don't want always old guest house. Sometimes like old guest house have to fix too much, right? See, think about it. You have like old car, you have to fix all the time, too much cost. Better buy new one, right? So like that, more safety and less cost. Many reasons we buy new car like that. So when we go to die, is you get new body again. So maybe better, much better than this life, future life. We can get more better life. So we can get car is more new and modern car again. So like that, yeah. That's why, see, meditator, impermanent meditator, no fear for death. If you have that, then your meditation is going right path, right direction. So impermanent meditation is antidote to negativity, fear for death. So we have fear for death. That's the reason we have to meditate impermanent. If you don't have fear for death, then you don't have to meditate impermanent. Yeah. So we wanted to free from of course death. Free from death is like higher level practitioner. They are, when they die, liberate. But beginners also, if no fears for death, that's also great. That's the reason we have to meditate impermanent. Then of course, like you know the impermanent, you really know how to take care of your life. I told you. So you have more wisdom, and you do good things, and then you can be haramane for with your family, because you know impermanent. So then you have more love, positive love for each other. So you have attachment, then you have negative love become. So that's become create causes of suffering. You have positive love, it's come from meditation impermanent. So you meditate impermanent, then arise positive love each other, and you really take care of your family and haramanele. Yeah, and then helping each other. So same time, then of course, not only your family, you take care of your neighbors. And because you know it's impermanent, you have compassion for each other become. So you have more harmony with everyone. Impermanent meditation bring become happy life for everyone. So then, okay, so life is for even a moment. We not stay in this life for even a moment. That's we know we cannot stay even a moment. Then you go to more subtle level impermanent. It's change minutes and minutes. So we was born until now all the time is changing. So same is like future also too. So far we know when we was born until now we cannot stop. You know, no change our life. We cannot stop. No one has choice. No one has that kind of power. So same thing like future life also we cannot control. We cannot stop. I want to be like this. No one have that choice. It's going to change and change every day. So change bring the good things again too. So people who know impermanent meditation, they're not stuck with the suffering, because they're not suffering is impermanent. Suffering is just temporary. They recognize that. Then not stuck with the suffering. People who don't know impermanent, when they get suffering, they're stuck with the suffering, then they suicide, they die. So who know the impermanent, they use the suffering taking into the path. Use that is the practicing, you know, meditate. So now we should think about how many cause and conditions lead to death, and how few things certain life. You know the impermanent main point, you know, family become haramane means they're no longer attachments strong each other, so they become have more helping each other, because no impermanent. That's why we see we should think about it. So how many causes and conditions lead to death, and how few things sustain life. Nagarjuna says, when evening he go to sleep and meditate impermanent. When he wake up, he say, I'm joy because I can breathe. I'm not dead last night. I can you know, like wake up again. So that he says, incredible, I can wake up today. And think about it, like we get in the car, we go to dive somewhere else, come back to home. That's also incredible too. When you board the airplane and land the airplane, that's also incredible too. Yeah, it's impermanent, really impermanent. So you go to journey somewhere and then you come back to home. That's also incredible. So all like that, we has so many causes and conditions lead to death. It's we don't know because we don't have certainty. Everything's uncertainty. No one has a confidence. I'm not going to die. So we have so many causes and conditions for death. Natural disasters. Think about. Who has certainty? No one has a certainty. So many people just die one time, like natural disaster, one earthquake or one fire or storms. Think about this. All the natural disasters can affect so many lives. Then, of course, like die not only natural disasters, just different ways. Like sometimes, wrong time, you get the wrong place, so accidentally die. So many causes for death. We are not secure from this permanence. See, few things sustain life, and how few things sustain life. It's very few. Life is become sustaining. Not much death conditions are lots, but sustaining life conditions are less. How lucky we are until now we be here, if you think that way. Because life is just gone like this. 1 second, we don't know. Think about it, in Florida has this apartment is become, just people when go to sleep, cannot wake up morning, that's it, done. So doesn't matter you are young or you are old, you are educated, uneducated, or you are rich or you are poor, doesn't matter. When death comes, no excuse. You cannot say, oh, I have family. You cannot say, oh, I'm young. So you cannot say, I'm not ready, right? It's no excuse there when death comes. So that's why it's so many conditions for lead to death. It's more conditions is before this time. Think about more these natural disasters more than before this time more. Comparing like long time ago, less natural disaster, I think. No, it's a climate change, more natural disaster. And then so many weapons, right? In the shop, so many guns. So it's always like, that's why so many causes for conditions for death. So there's no one can change that condition. See, when Buddha said this one is 2,500 years ago, under same thing. Because samsara. So everyone talk about that, how to change that, but really no one can change it. It's natural law of phenomena, kind of like, it's death is of course a natural law of phenomena. And then no one free from escape that, but then human beings, always due to ignorance and attachment, always create causes of death. So that's the reason very few things sustain life. We are not secure from this impermanence. We are not secure from this impermanence, which will one day cause us to part from our family, friends, and loved ones. So that's for everyone, not only for us. Long as you have a birth, you have family. Long as you have family, then of course you have loved ones. So those loved ones also one day become part from each other, depart from each other, because it's samsara. It's a natural phenomena. So no one can change that. That's why if you meditate this more and more impermanent, then you have love is become unconditional love arise for your family. No attachment love. Attachment love is create causes of suffering each other. Yeah. And not always like that, but sometimes attachment love like temporarily you joy, but sometimes attachment love is create causes of suffering each other because due to that. So now you meditate this impermanent, this positive love bring antidote to negative love. Okay, what is negative love is attachment love, causes of suffering. What is positive love? Unconditional love. Unconditional love arises, then you really truly love your family. Otherwise, you know, our love is conditional love. That love is not true love. You know, it's always dependent, many things. See, parents also like think about 3 kids. 1 kid is great, 2 kids is not great. Parents love great kids, you know, because it's conditional. They don't love other 2. Yeah. Why? Because it's attachment love and conditional love. If you have true love, you love 3 of them equally. Same thing, no difference. Yeah. And then like that, parent, husband love wife because due to condition something, maybe beautiful, maybe rich, maybe have good job or something, good conditions there. That's why love. If you don't have that, no more love. Yeah, that's the reason, see, so many divorce. That's all is called unconditional love, not true love there. So it's mostly is you pretending love, not true love there. That's why it's this, you know, impermanent meditation doesn't matter. You are poor or you are rich. So long as you married, and they have talked about marriage ceremony, you are poor, you are rich, whatever happens, always take care of you 100%. Like they promise, but they don't stay that, right? Because unconditional love, conditional love, no unconditional love there. So unconditional love, then that promise is a perfect promise. Otherwise, that promise is a fake promise. Make sense? See, because due to attachment love, no true love. It's you meditate impermanent, unconditional love. Then your promise is a truth love, truth promise. Truth promise. So then you see, you have truly promised, you always taking care of each other. So become families harmony. Then doesn't matter how many kids like parents has, you taking care everyone's economically. Same. So equal rights. So impermanent meditation bring all the positive conditions. And this 4 thoughts meditation is a source of Dharma. Impermanent meditation is a source of happiness. So then who has strong attachment love, they don't want to hear impermanent. Because they're not truly love. They're just pretending love. That's why they don't want to hear this impermanent. Yeah. So who has meditation impermanent, they have, you know, become truly love for family and neighbors, friends, everyone. Then when they become separate, no longer suffering. you're not stuck with that suffering. Otherwise, everything is become think about worldly. Whatever you have is everything is causes of suffering. Everything. Long as you have family, no one can keep that together. It's departing each other one day. Then attachment love is sad and suffering. See, love is become family is causes of suffering. Your job is the causes of suffering. Your power is the causes of suffering. Everything is the causes of suffering. If you don't know impermanent meditation, if you know the permanent meditation, then family is happy, joy, but then no bring you suffering. One day separate each other, no bring you suffering. That is a natural law of phenomena. One day go separated. There's no cautions. No one has choice. So same thing, your job, you get a job, maybe you have to resign your job or you lose the job. So you cannot keep always that job. Doesn't matter you like or not. So that job bring you happiness, and one day you left your job. You know that happiness is not become suffering. Otherwise, it's called suffering of change. Yeah. So your job bring you happiness. When you lose that job, you are not sad longer, no suffering. So you meditate impermanent, you don't have suffering, change of suffering. You don't have change of suffering. Change of suffering is suffering of change. I think suffering of change. Suffering of change is happiness and change to suffering. So who know the impermanent meditation, you have happiness that no goes to suffering. Make sense? So that's why we have to meditate impermanent. So you loved ones, one day you lost. You can accept that easily because it's due to natural law of phenomena. Sometimes like due to your attachment, you don't have happening that. Not looking to what the person need. Or it's my and I want my parents stay long. You don't think about what my parents need. Yeah. If my parents is sick and they're old, then should go peacefully. You don't think that I want to stay. So all is I become. See, then there, of course, due to impermanent goes suffering. So causes of suffering like that. From family, friends, and loved ones. When we meditate on impermanence in this way, when this recognition is awakening in our mind stream, our mind will truly turn to Dharma. So you meditate impermanent, you really see the samsara clearly. You have wisdom arise in your mind. So then wisdom arises in your mind, then you really want, your minds will truly turn to Dharma. You really want to practice Dharma. So this here is just main point, essence of impermanence. Then there have many different examples, more details in the Joy of Liberation, that kind of teachings. You can go there and look there. Then that investigating like each person, like think about company owners, think about like say meditate company owners, meditate presidents, meditate kings. So meditate who has 20 members family. So like that, who meditate, billionaires, meditate homelessness. So you can investigate each, like this person, you really find impermanent. So this each, you meditate, use this object is waking your mind, bring you wisdom. So that kind, like sharing in the Geonomic liberations, they tell you more detailed level meditation impermanent. Then if you know the impermanent, so you comes more realizer, emptiness. Because if you don't know impermanent, you not possible recognize emptiness. First step is meditate impermanent, gross level. Then go more subtle level, and we recognize subtle level every moment we are changing. So every moment is impermanent, not permanent, like when he was baby and a teenager, and we think about all either and order. Not only that, impermanent. Impermanent is every moment impermanent, changing. So you recognize that, meditate, you practice that, you recognize, then you really see yourself. You recognize yourself. And then look to yourself, is all is compound of phenomena. It's truly nothing exists in there. So all is become emptiness. So that is called emptiness. Not emptiness means something no exist. Yeah, emptiness means like you investigate yourself. All is impermanent. Nothing can you find truly exist yourself. Then you are emptiness. So you meditate, you are emptiness, then you are no longer are and self. No longer and are and self. So you don't have then are and self. No and are and no, you no longer are and self. We are then free from death. So that is like more deeper level goes, free from death. Because you're not dying, then you really see you're not dying. So that's called realize. And then we are waking up, waking. So it's called liberating. The practitioner's death is liberation, means they realize I and the self is not exist. Then you see yourself is not exist. When we die, is death also not exist. Okay, so that's this impermanent meditation, protecting our beginning level, no fears for death. Permanent, more deeper level, you recognize death is not exist. We are not dying. So then when we meditate on impermanent in this way, when this recognition is waking in our mind stream, our minds will truly turn to the Dharma. Such recognition becomes an antidote to our clinging to attachment to the present life and this inspiring diligence. So you meditate impermanent, then no longer attached to in this life. So impermanent meditation is antidote to attachment. No attachment, no suffering. So then also you don't longer attach to in this life, because you see this life is impermanent. Then you see your life is impermanent, you don't want to waste in your life. You see your life is not permanent, it's short term. So you want to put that something great, put effort to do something great. So who don't know the impermanent, then there has lazy, and kind of like not doing jobs. I mean, like they don't do the job. They always think, I'm not going to do today, maybe tomorrow or next week, next month, next year, something. Always put tomorrow, never do the job. So you meditate impermanent, then that antidote to that kind, lazy, become you get inspiring diligence. You have effort, because diligent effort is antidote to lazy. And then they have many different ways to explain, but I don't remember the other words. So it's lazy, thinking about I'm going to do next month, next year, something. So you do the right time, that moment, because you have diligence, inspire and diligence. You put effort. So then you think, oh, if I don't do today, tomorrow I don't know I'm alive or not. So if I don't do practice this impermanent meditation in this year, I don't know if next year I'm alive or not. So then you really practice impermanent meditation in this year. So that's bring the diligence. Without awakening in our mind streams, at last terrifying appreciation of mortality and impermanence, we will grasp more and more intensely to this present life's dharmas, never looking at the feet of our future lives. If this happens, we will lack any interest in practicing sublime dharma. So if we don't practice meditate impermanent, then we are attached to in this life. We don't thinking about future life. So strong attached to this life, they're not going to do anything good things future life. So that means like if without impermanent, you're not going to practice dharma. If you don't practice dharma, then not possible you taking care of future life. So that's the reason impermanent meditation really helps, inspiring, want to do good things in this life. So that's why then impermanent meditation bring the, good, going to go to the practice of dharma. So then go to the cause and the effect. Cause and the effect. This 4 thoughts is like linked one by one, have to you cultivate. When you practice precious human body, meditate, then you are joy because you see you have precious human body, harder to get. You get that, you're happy. Then you cannot attach to that because it's impermanent. So you have to meditate impermanent. I have precious human body. It's very hard to get, but easy to lost. Yeah. So then you meditate impermanent. If I lost my precious human body, then what happened? Thinking about future life. See, this first 2 meditation is antidote to in this life. Second 2 is antidote to future life. Okay, so no, I lose in this life. So what happened? Is follow the cause and the effect. So now you meditate the cause and the effect, karma cause and the effect. You can meditate the cause and the effect. We will grasp more and more intensely in this present lives, dharmas, never looking at the state of our future lives. You have impermanent meditation, then you really look to future life. If you don't practice and meditate impermanent, you're not looking to future life. You are attached to this life, you are stuck within this life. Then you create the causes of suffering. If this happens, we will lack any interest in practice Salam Dharma. Not possible to practice Dharma again. If you are attached to in this life, you know thinking about future life, you don't do something good thing future life. Then that's the reason we will lack any interest in practice Salam Dharma. We will become like ordinary people. So no practice Dharma, become ordinary people. Same as all these other worldly people create causes of suffering. Our life is exactly like that. Therefore, when we think about impermanence, we will understand that we do not have a long term here on this earth, in this present embodiment. We thus will want to practice Dharma, which will truly benefit us in our future lives. When this faith in Dharma practice arises, it means our mind has turned to Dharma. So we see this life is impermanent, not stay too long. So then we're looking for future life. And what future life we need Dharma. So then you really put effort for practice Dharma. So then your life is follow the Dharma. That's why here, see, we thus wanted to practice Dharma. Then you really want to practice Dharma, which will truly benefit us in our future lives. The future life is dependent in this life. If this life we don't practice Dharma, future life is causes of suffering. If we practice Dharma in this life, then future life is happiness. So that's the reason in this life is dependent in this life. Pema Sambhava, he said, you don't have to ask anyone what my life, previous life. You just look to in this present life. You recognize what is kind of you did in previous life. So previous life did good actions. That's the reason right now you are here, human beings. And also not ordinary human beings. You have precious human body. Because yesterday we talked, you have 18 freedoms. You have 18 freedoms. A freedom, 10 endowment. Total 18, you have that. You are precious human body. You did something good. That's why you can see right now in this life. Then what's going to happen in future life? Look to our right now action. So now your action is doing great. Your future life is become great. So it's all future life is your hand. Past life is your right now your what you have. That is recognized in this life is due to the past life. Future life is due to right now our action. So you meditate impermanent, you really recognize that, and so then in this life is due to previous life. I did something great. So no, I cannot change in this life, but I can change future life. Then you can change future life. So you know what you have to do, right? It's practice Dharma, it's changing your future life. This life, you cannot change because due to previous life karma. Future life, you have power, you can change. It's future life is in your hand. You can change future life. So then you recognize that you practice Dharma, you will truly benefit us in future lives, become you truly benefit future life. When this faith in Dharma practice arises, so you also arise devotion. It means our mind has turned to the Dharma. So your mind is got right direction to the Dharma. That's impermanent, we have to meditate. You can just close eye, think about one natural disaster. Think about where is the kind of like some problems, difficulties, you think, investigate that, you recognize impermanent. You recognize this company owners is impermanent, really impermanent, you know. And then you really see who has like 20 members family, really impermanent. So then you meditate like that, become you see all the samsaras true reality. You see the reality samsara. Then you no longer attachment. You have more freedom. Mind is freedom. Your minds become freedom, get freedom. Okay, so you have strong attachment, you are more suffering. So then this section also, in permanent meditation, sometimes we talk about, reduce attachment. So reduce attachment is in Buddhist teaching, different yanas has a different method because due to individual level capacity. So first method is you become less, less you own things, you less suffering. I mean, if you have more houses, you have more suffering. If you have more family members, you have more suffering. If you have more money, you're more suffering, like that. So that become reduce this attachment and then be simple way, follow the simple way. So that is the actually more beginner practitioners follow, use that method. If you have more, you own more houses, due to that, because you are more attachment, then you want more houses again, more houses. Then you see you have like 10 houses. If you have 10 houses, so you see some has more better than your 10 houses. You wanted that house. You have 10 houses and no longer satisfied for you, no bring you happy. So you see someone has more better than that, you wanted that. So that's why then it's become your more desire follows, your more suffering. This method is less, object you own, you less suffering. That's why you become, life is go more simple way, you're less suffering. As another method, okay? So that method is also for more beginners, using for more beginners. Because our minds easily attached to object and follow desire, very easy. We have strong karmic imprints. There has a stories, like I share you short story there. When Buddha was in the Niyu, means like Sharavasti, he was there. So one day, and one woman bring the child's dead body in front of Buddha. She asked Buddha, please can you alive this? She's extremely suffering. Buddha said, who is that? Of course, he knows what's going on, everything. Just he said, pretending he don't know. He said, who's that? She said, this is my nephew. So ask him alive this person. Yeah. Then Buddha told her, how many nephews you have? She said, I have 20 something nephews and nieces. First, he asked her, how many kids you have? She said she has like 10 or 12 something, she has kids. So then he asked, how many nieces and nephews you have? She says 20 or 30 something. So then there is like one of that dead. So she is extremely suffering. Yeah. And she don't recognize what is she look like. Yeah. Forget to eat, forget to drink, and forget everything herself. Extremely suffering. So ask him, Buddha, alive this person. Buddha told her, its method is, you want, he told the different method. There's another is like you go to, if find no one die place, can find something, sesame seed or something, then we can alive. So she went to everywhere. No family can find, no one die. So that is a teaching. Actually, she come back, she recognized, oh, everyone is dying. Then Buddha told her, you want more nephew and niece? She said, yes, I want more nephew and niece. Same is like, in this city, everyone is want to be my nephew and niece. So then Buddha told her, okay, every day in this city die people. You want every day same as today? You want the same as every day as today? She said, no, I don't want the same as today. Then Buddha said, you don't need. All this city is your nephew and niece. So she really recognized this more nieces, more nephews, is more suffering. So then she apologized Buddha and she asked her, please teach me and I'm going to follow you. So that example, that story is just main point is you own more things, you are more stuck with the suffering, more desires. So then our life is every day is hungry ghost, same as become. Okay, so that's the reason less own the things. It's less suffering, much more simple life is great. Then practitioners level, you meditate impermanent everything, use that method. Whatever you have, you own, that is no causes of suffering. I already told you. See, this meditation really powerful impermanent meditation because we know, think about in the Western country, everyone owns lots. Yeah, everyone has a bank account, everyone has a cement, everyone has a house mostly. Yeah, everyone has like jobs, everyone has families, so many things on. So kind of like God realm. Okay, so the God realm is suffering is change, suffering of change. God realm is suffering of change. So right now what we have all these own things, it's become suffering of change. So what we need, really what we need impermanent meditation. So we cannot be very simple life way to stay the life because due to this environment, yeah, it's your life is not the same as monastic life. So cannot be simple life, go to the caves, meditate. That is no require for you. So you can be your life, whatever you have right now, you can have that. Then what you have, that is no causes of suffering, that is like good for you, that is going to win-win situation, take to the good way. What you need impermanent meditation. So impermanent meditation give you win-win situation. Right now you have all this desire object, you have owned things, good condition you have. So you have that is of course temporarily right now give you happiness. So that not take you to suffering, you need to meditate impermanent. Then there is no suffering of change. If you meditate impermanent, whatever you own, you not really fixation, attachment to that. So you can enjoy with that, but no longer fixation to that object. That is the perfect method perfect medicine for us. So, think about what we really need. So what we really need, we need impermanent meditation. Tibetan we say kayu layu means like really need and benefit right now for you. What we need is we need impermanent meditation. So then, long as you have impermanent meditation, you can have 5 members family, you can have a 10 members family, you can have 20 members family, you can have a couple of houses, you can have a couple of cars, different cars, but this object not really give you suffering if you recognize impermanent, truly impermanent meditation. You can use that object, but the object not bring you suffering. Make sense or no? Okay, so that's the reason we have to cultivate and meditate impermanent. Is we need. This is good for our medicine. Because we are sick person, too much desire. That is, we are sick. We need medicine, impermanent medicine. We have mental problem, too much desire. We need medicine. It's impermanent meditation is our medicine. Yeah. So then you meditate impermanent more. Not only you taking care in this life, see, you taking care future life. Otherwise, we really don't know how to take care this life, how to take care future life. These ordinary people don't know how to take care this life, how to take care future life. Who meditate impermanent, that person knows how to take care in this life, how to take care in future life. So then you meditate impermanent, we can say we are practitioner. So many different kind of meditations. Buddha say impermanent meditation is most benefit because due to our desire, attachment. So if you don't have a desire attachment, then you don't need impermanent meditation. Long as you have a desire attachment, we have to meditate impermanent. Then you meditate impermanent meditation, so you take care already in this life. This life is not suffering. Yeah. Then also future life, you know what you need. So you know what you need future life, you need Dharma. Then you create in this life Dharma. Because you know your life is impermanent, you create right now. Just you have actions. Become your life is meaningful life. Impermanent meditation bring your life is meaningful life. It means our mind has turned to Dharma. So mind is taken to the Dharma. To make meaningful use of our freedoms and endowments, we should meditate on karma, the law of cause and effect. Then, so you know impermanent, you really want to become meaningful life. That's why you follow the cause and effect. Then you freedoms and endowment, we should meditate on karma, law of cause and effect. We have to meditate the karma, cause and effect. When impermanent happens as death, and we must pass from this life, whatever karma we have accrued will follow after our consciousness unerringly. So, see, due to impermanent, this life is we have to change, pass from this life. Then we follow the karma. So karma is whatever we create in this life or previous life also there too. We have accrue will follow after our consciousness unerringly. So consciousness followed by karma. We don't know. So consciousness follow the karma means like depending the karma. No one can control that. We don't have a choice. So when we follow the karma, then the results of our actions will later be experienced by us in the form of happiness or suffering. So see the result of our actions. No, if we do some create virtuous deeds, so future life is happiness. If we create like negative, karma, then result is a suffering. No will later be experienced by us in the form of happiness or suffering. So depending our actions. So this main point is our future life is our hand. No one control us. So we have our own choice. You can make your own decision. Future life is you can make your own decision. No one can control us. That's why happiness has come from virtuous deeds. Suffering is come from non-virtuous deeds. That's also no one created that. We created that our own karma. Virtuous action can be defined as any actions, direct, covert, or indirect, that is done with the motivation to benefit others. So now is here sharing is what is the virtuous deeds, what is non-virtuous deeds. So virtuous is action can be defined as any action directly doing good things, covert, or indirectly. So indirectly, giving, like you just ask to someone to do, that's all indirectly doing things indirectly. You doing is direct action. So then indirect, that is done with the motivation to benefit others. So it's always due to the motivation. Here is a talk about the cause and the effect is followed by intention. Then in this section also beginning level and practitioners recognize the cause and the effect is two different levels there. When Buddha shared the beginning level, cause and the effect is more beginning level, no really talking about intention is important, like your doing, object is important. So go up to higher level, practitioner level, then motivation is more important, your object. So beginning level, he said, pointing the object, don't harm for others. This also sentient being, you also sentient being, this also want happiness, you also want happiness. So just comparing each other, don't harm for others. Yeah, so using the object, don't stealing this object, don't kill these animals, like that. He pointing the object is like more followed by the object, cause and the effect. But then higher level, more practitioner level is become intention. So intention has more power than object. So that means like your speech, your body is followed by your mind. Mind is a principle, become mind is principle. Buddha's, teaching, first step, Vinayana teaching is more focused with the object. focus with the object means, okay, so they have roles, yeah, many different roles. So I talked about like maybe when I share 37 practice Buddhism at that time. So different roles, don't care the other beings. Talk about 10 virtuous, I mean the 10 non-virtuous deeds. Don't do this 10 non-virtuous. Practice the 10 virtuous. Yeah. So stop the 10 non-virtuous. Create, like 10 virtuous. Stop 10 non-virtuous. So that is the follow the object. And then up to this Mahayana teaching, so now follow this 10 virtues object and 10 non-virtuous object. So then what is the main point is followed by the intention. So mind is become principle, and your intention can change the object. Object can be positive or negative, is dependent on your intention. So see, 10 non-virtuous says, don't stealing others' object. Don't killing other animals or human beings, anyone. Don't harm them. So, and like that, create 10 non-virtuous. Buddha said, don't do 10 non-virtuous. And up to Mahayana level, so it's always dependent on your intention and the situation. Yeah. Think about don't stealing means if you're going to really help that person, if you take away from that person, you really can benefit of that person. Even you get negativity, I don't care. I can really help that person, 100% truly. Due to that karma, I can go to reborn to hungry ghosts or lower realms, doesn't matter. I want that person to become not stuck with desire, this object. I will take from this object from him. Yeah. So you have that kind of intention. They take from the object from others person. Say no stealing stuff. That person don't have the kind of negativity for stealing other things, because your intention is become pure, and it's virtuous deeds become. So like that is up to motivation is most important. Up to motivation, then it's virtuous deeds. No virtuous deeds is no one don't know. Only you know yourself, because you know your intention, what you're doing, right? So then you have to ask question yourself, what you doing? I'm doing this is a virtual or no virtuous deeds. You see yourself, because due to your intention. No one knows, it's other people. So you have to ask yourself, long as you have a good intention, you don't thinking about your own benefit. You don't have any agenda yourself. 100% pure good intention, helping for others, or action, whatever you're doing, body acting is like wrathful, speech is harsh, doesn't matter, long as you have good intention, it's virtuous deeds. Yeah. Then your intention is not great, your speech is haramane, your body is smiling and laughing, and you show really great, but your intentions are not great, it's called no virtuous deeds. So that's the we have to follow. That's why here says, see, virtuous deeds and non-virtuous deeds is up to the intention, because it's a motivation to benefit others. That is called virtuous deeds. No virtuous action can be defined as any action, direct, covert, or indirect, that is motivated by the intention to harm others. when we recognize the difference between virtue and non-virtue, meditating on the defect of samsara, so and the law of cause and effect, we understand our karma will be awakened in our mind stream. When this occurs, it means our mind has turned towards the Dharma. So you meditate cause and effect. What is the virtuous deeds? What is non-virtuous deeds? You have to investigate your cultivating. So cultivating cause and effect. Think about cause and effect. So we have to think like someone, go to school and you really start very hard and you get good grade. So that's also cause and effect. You work very hard, you get a paycheck. That's also cause and effect. Actually, whole this world is followed by cause and effect, but we don't recognize that. Everything is follow the cause and effect. Even people don't accept karma cause and effect, but everyone follow the cause and effect. People think, oh, Buddha talk about karma cause and effect. Then they say, oh, I don't believe cause and effect. I don't want to follow the cause and effect. That thing is I'm follow the religion. If I don't follow the religion, then that thing I don't have a cause and effect. That is totally, wrong view, wrong understand, misunderstand. So all this word, actually everyone knows you do good, result is great. You do bad, your result is bad. So you harm for others, stealing from others, you killing others, you go to jail. So that's also, see, cause and effect temporarily there. And you helping for others, generosity others, you do like create charities, everyone going to donation to there, and because you recognize doing good things. So that's it's cause and effect. Then all this country law is based on the cause and the effect. So that means all this country is follow the Buddha. Yeah, it's follow the cause and the effect. No one say it's like, oh, whatever God tell us, we retain the God message. So otherwise you don't have to create a law, because you have to read each situation God answer, right? We don't read the God answer, what he said, correct or incorrect. So we country created law means you follow the cause and the effect. So actually, see, Buddha, he talked about the cause and the effect is long time ago, like 2,500 years ago, and the country all created that law, but still the people say, oh, no, I'm not follow the religion. Actually, religion means who follow the cause and the effect. That is a religion. So who don't follow the cause and the effect, then that is no Buddhist religion, right? Buddhist religion means actually who follow the cause and the effect. That is Buddha's religion. Otherwise, you don't have to create a law. And then this cause and the effect is most important teaching. The Buddha's teaching, most important. So he wanted to get true answer. That is he discovering cause and effect. When he was a Siddhartha, he not satisfied with during that time religion system, because he think that all is incorrect. They don't have good answer in there. So all has like caste systems and no economy, And all the best on is that religion he recognized is wanted to control each other. So they use the God, you use the God, and they wanted to control each other. So that's the he recognized. And then he give up the kingdom because he meditated and practiced the true discovered true nature means like he discovered relatively cause and effect, discover absolute true nature. So that's all the cause and the effect is follow the cause and the effect. It's then I have other like in the learning Buddhism, this cause and the effect long more in teachings there, more kind of follow the reason, reasoning like logically follow how to cause and effect, karma cause and effect. So some people don't believe cause and effect because they say, I don't see. My eye don't see. I don't see karma cause and effect. I don't believe cause and effect. So if you don't see, you don't believe, you don't see tomorrow, so you don't have tomorrow. If you don't see, you don't believe, then in your stomach has so many things inside your stomach. You don't need to believe that you have that, right? Because your eye don't see that. If you don't see your eye, then you can believe only in where you live, that city. You cannot see other countries, cities. So maybe you not believe exist other countries because you don't see. So that's also incorrect. Then, of course, our eye don't see the power of poison. Your eye don't see. That's why we put the labels. We say don't touch, don't drink, don't eat, because I cannot see that. If you eat, the problem you don't see. If you drink, you don't see. Then think about alcohol. It's liquid, looks like water, juice, but we don't see that, alcohol going to affect you, going to dunk, right? I don't see. They have a power over there. And the medicine can recover our illness. We don't see that. So we don't see these injections, vaccines can protecting this disease. You don't see that, but they have a power. So like that, and even you don't see the positive karma, negative karma has power, and the negative karma result is suffering, positive karma is result is happiness. Then some people think, I don't believe Buddhist because I don't follow the cause and the effect. I don't have karma cause and effect. If you don't believe or no believe, it doesn't matter. If you don't believe the fire going to burn your hand, you touch the fire, you get burned. You believe, not believe, fire don't care about you. So you drink the poison, I say, I believe I'm going to die. I don't believe I'm going to die. Doesn't matter you believe die or not die. It's poison going to get you. Long as you drink, you're going to die. So that's it. Karma is like that. Karma cause and effect. So you have to think about more, like learn that part and cultivate, recognize cause and effect. Then as an antidote to grasping at the samsaric pleasure as happiness, we meditate on the defect of samsara. Then we have to meditate the defect of samsara. Defect of samsara meditation, no longer attached to future life again. Then this helps you become really want truly liberation. The way to do this is as follows. First, we should meditate on the reality that the whole of samsara is not beyond the nature of the three types of suffering. Suffering, compounding suffering, the suffering of change, and the all pervasive of suffering, condition phenomena. So long as we are stuck in samsara, everyone has these three different types of suffering. No one beyond in that. So samsara means suffering. Samsara is not true happiness. That's the reason, see, no one has permanent happiness in samsara. So we have temporary happiness in samsara, yes. We always stuck, attached to temporary happiness. But that happiness bring you always good? No. We have this suffering of change. Suffering of change is temporary happiness is changed to suffering. That's the reason we already talked. We have to meditate impermanent meditation, impermanent meditate. So then we have this kind of three types of suffering. Suffering, compounding suffering is called suffering of suffering. Suffering of suffering. Samsara is suffering, but then you lose your family. It's called suffering of suffering. Then you lose your job. That's also suffering of suffering. First, samsara is a suffering. Then you get another extra suffering. Yeah. So it's called suffering of suffering. You get sick, it's called suffering of suffering. So any different kind of problem you get, that is called suffering of suffering. So how to get rid of that suffering? We have to meditate impermanent. We already talked, you meditate impermanent, you're not stuck with that suffering, suffering of suffering. Then suffering of change, suffering of changes, happiness has become changed to suffering. All the samsara, temporary happiness is become causes of suffering. So that's also the reality of this samsara. When you get family, of course, like you married, it's a happiness. Then it's become one day divorce. Short term, like the short, very short, your happiness stay. If you stay longer, then when like die, so that's it's become change of suffering. Change of suffering. So it's dependent how long stay. Doesn't matter stay longer or short term. Anyway, it's that happiness is going to suffering. So that's why we have to meditate impermanent. If you meditate impermanent, happiness is not going to change of suffering. I already told you win-win situation in samsara. So you become love each other. Okay, you have happy. And then you meditate impermanent. One day you become separate, becomes suffering. So that is, no change of suffering. It only helps your protections impermanent meditation. Impermanent meditation really helps you. Suffering, the change of suffering. See, change of suffering is like everything in the samsara, temporary happiness, all is change to suffering. You buy the house, one day you can afford the house, it's suffering, change of suffering. When you buy the house, you happy, satisfied, then you can afford that, it's change of suffering. You get married, you happy, divorce, it's change of suffering. You get puppies, when the puppies die, change of suffering. Yeah. So when you get new car and break down, or someone stolen your car, change of suffering. And or you cannot pay, is change of suffering. So that's everything like that. When you get a job, you're happy, lose job, change of suffering. Yeah. When you eat good food, due to that, you get a stomach, is change of suffering. Or headache. You go to a party, dance, and too much drink, next day you headache and you sick, is change of suffering. So this all the samsara, this is change of suffering means temporary happiness is causes of suffering. So that is called change of suffering. Then pervasive of suffering, this last one. The all pervasive suffering of condition phenomena. That means long as you reborn samsara, you already have all these suffering conditions. It's no choice because you bring 5 elements together. So long as you bring 5 elements together, these 5 elements is contradict each other, cannot be easily together. Fire is strong and then affected to the water. Earth is strong, affected to the wind. See, like that, they are contradict each other, 5 elements. Cannot be easily haramane. We have 5 elements, 5 enemies together. How are you going to keep together haramane? See, hard. So you bring the 5 elements together, 5 enemies each other together. So that is called compound, this pervasive of suffering. So hard to keep this together, balance. So when water is strong, you get sick. Wind is strong, you get sick. Earth element is strong, you get sick. So you must have to, this element is balance. Hard to keep balance. See, that's why it's called pervasive of suffering, means we already bring 5 elements together. So hard to keep haramane and balance. If it cannot keep that, it's called then suffering of suffering become. Then actually, this pervasive of suffering is ordinary people don't call suffering, but Buddhas, Bodhisattvas call suffering because they see, long as you bought the house, they see is pervasive of suffering. Then you have to maintain, you have to keep maintaining, pay. That is pervasive of suffering. Long as you have bought, you have to keep that, right? Long as you bought, it's a suffering. Long as you married, it's suffering. Long as you born, it's a suffering. So that is called pervasive of suffering. You're already going into the suffering. But we don't see that it's the suffering. We see I started good things, happiness. The Bodhisattvas see already suffering there, going to suffering. Yeah. Pervasive of suffering of condition phenomena. When we get to the point where even thinking about the suffering of these 6 realms of beings feels unbearable, when we wonder what we would do if we were actually experiencing any of the most extreme forms of suffering. When we have familiarized ourselves with the defect of samsara, whatever dharma we practice will be on the authentic path. So you then all this investigate everything samsaric situation is become causes of suffering. Then you really see that no any true happiness there. So you looking true happiness is same as like honey is in the blood. So you're using the tongue, try to get the honey, your tongue cut because the honey is top on the leather blood, right? Leathers or sharp one. So like that, samsara is like that. And you attach to that test, then leather is correct, right? Leather, sharp one. So you sometimes we shave the bears. What is it called? Leather.
Razor.
Razor, I say razor. See, razor, honey put in the leather. Then your tongue, try to get the honey. You use the tongue, the leather cut your tongue. So like that, samsara is like bodhisattvas see exactly like that. This then bodhisattvas see samsaric beings strong attached to honey top of the leather. They see no any pleasure, happiness in there. So then you meditate that no longer attached to future life, good rebirth. Then what we want? We want true happiness. Where is true happiness? Free from samsara. So how to get free from samsara? Then the next meditation is free from samsara meditations. So this four thoughts meditation helps you no longer you want to be in the samsara. So taking to the liberation. So that's all. It's a four thoughts meditation. Those four thoughts that turn the mind like function of a house are the very roots of Dharma. If a rare understanding of these four thoughts is waking in our mind stream, the benefits are in normal us. So the four thoughts meditation is like here, see, foundation of a house. So you're going to build the house, you need a foundation. This four thoughts meditation is a foundation of the Dharma. That's why it's four thoughts meditation is called preliminary practice. Preliminary practice. Then you can love meditate, you can compassion meditate, you can do prostration, you can do mandala offering, you can do the Vajrasattva practice, you can do, different Yadam deities practice, you can do shamatha meditation, you can do vipassana meditation, all it's become Dharma. So this is a foundation of the practice. Long as you have that, then every practice is become Dharma, whatever you're doing. So that all is main practice. You can reach, long as you have this foundation of the meditation four thoughts, you can receive empowerment. Long as you have this foundation of the four thoughts meditation, then you can practice Yadam deity. You can practice bodhicitta. You can practice all this next level. Everything is you have foundation. Okay, so we finish there four thoughts meditation. Thank you, everyone. And this section, so just we have to cultivate again and again, meditate. Yesterday, the talk about precious human body meditation, and this last one, we talk about defect of samsara is very similar, but just different, kind of way the how to say the different aspects where to meditate. See, precious human body also we have to cultivate like all these lower realms. Then result is we have to happy because we are free from that state. So no defect of samsara also you have to cultivate these lower realms. And then you really want to free from that state. No want to be there. So different aspects, very similar meditation, defect of samsara and cultivate precious human body. And then impermanent meditation is cause and effect. It's also goes together kind of. Impermanent is a Dharma meditation. Impermanent meditation itself is practice Dharma. So long as you have impermanent meditation, you put effort. You do all these things, you do the love meditation, you do compassion, you do shamatha vipassana meditation, so you practice Yadam deities, you do everything, good things. So that's why impermanent meditation is, and cause and effect meditation is similar, follow together. Okay, so we finish 4 thoughts meditation. Now we do the dedication first. Page 157. Dorjen Chang, Telopa, Naropa, Marpa, Malarepa, Dharma, Lodi Gambopa, Pamotupa, Lodi Gompa. Please bestow upon us most auspicious blessings of all Kaju Lamas. By this virtue may I achieve omniscience. By defeating all enemies, confusion. May all who traverse on the waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death cross the ocean of samsara. Bodhicitta, the excellent and precious mind. Where it is unborn may it arise. Where it is a born may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. I pray the Lama may have a good health. I pray the Lama may have a long life. I pray that your Dharma activity separate far and wide. I pray that I may not be separate from you. As Manjushri Vero realized the automic state, and as did Samandabhadra, I will follow in the path and fully dedicate all the merit for all sentient beings. By the blessing of the Buddha who attained the three kayas, by the blessing of the true of the unchanging Dharma as such, by the blessing of the indivisible Sangha order, may the merit I share bear fruit. By the virtues collected in the 3 times, by my 7 all beings in samsara and nirvana, and by the inner rule of virtue, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious enlightenment. May the teaching of Great Digompa Ranashiri, who is omniscient, Lord of Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue to increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of the samsara. Thank you, everyone. So now, do you have? Yeah, some have questions.
I got a question. I haven't written you the one I was supposed to from last week. Oh, but I have kind of a long question. And then I think it might be a short question. So after you get through the preliminaries and you've accomplished these different levels of kind of the same approach to investigating who we are in the world we live in and how things work, then what's the next kind of thing of progress? This is the short question.
Good. Next time progress is then put effort for practice of Dharma is to say love meditation, compassion meditation is coming. So
it's like an activity. It's like activity in that the aspiration. Are you saying, for example? Well, are you saying that the aspiration is accomplished then? So now it's time to engage in Dharma. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Liza. L-I-Z-S, Ledger. Oh. She has symbols question, I don't know. She or he, I cannot see. Okay, then anyone has a question?
Rose has a question, Tempo.
Who has?
Rose here.
Okay, Rose.
Kempola.
You're welcome, yes.
Yes, thank you for your beautiful teaching. One insight that you provided I found very refreshing, and that was in the earlier part of your teaching. You said about there's love with attachment and love that is free of attachment. So one is the positive, the love that is free of attachment is positive.
Yes.
And the love that has attachment leads you down the wrong road. Could you comment a little more on how to distinguish what is healthy love versus love that is lacking Dharma?
You mean the attachment love or?
Yes, because earlier you said attachment love, and then I guess the opposite is non-attachment love.
Yes.
I was just trying to understand the concept. I have not heard it put that way before.
Huh. So attachment love is usually most we see the samsaric ordinary people love is follow the attachment love. Because the condition, follow your condition. So love is dependent something. And that's not really true love. True love is not dependent. So dependent is many different levels dependent, of course, different situations. That's we know. So that love is become, then one day it's not going to stay same longer because it's due to the dependent, and then become causes of suffering each other. So that mean you mean?
Yes, that was the question, because I'm someone who grew up with a family that had a lot of violence and other troubles. And
Yes.
so, how do I say, a child's natural desire is for the love and affection of mother and protection by the father. But when the mother and father cannot provide that, then you look in other parts of life to get what you did not get at home. So some of that energy is healthy because we're human beings with compassion and love.
Yes.
And then some of it is the samsara, the looking for some short benefit, not so. For someone like me, it is sometimes confusing to distinguish what is healthy, love that is actually without any condition, such as like love of the Dharma is one thing, but applying that can be very difficult, and we meet all kinds of people. And you can get excited, this person seems really good, or that person, because of conditioning, this person appears good, that person appears distant or threatening, or you just make a commitment. And so I was just thinking, trying to understand, because so often we Americans were in our early Buddhist practice, where we think it's controlling the mind as opposed to relaxing, and then how to develop the healthy compassion, not be lost.
It's a healthy develop healthy compassion is I think today I shared impermanent meditation. So hold that impermanent meditation, bring the healthy, and positive love. So I talked to you a lot their impermanent part. So how to bring that one. So you can listening again, you can get recording. Yes. And then Heather.
Hi, Kimboa.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, I just wanted to say something based on what she's discussing, because this has been something personally I've been struggling with too, not only with practice, but also with my work, because I do trauma therapy work, right? So this involves people who are also unhealthy, that have mental problems. And I think it's hard because you have to be really careful. As a practitioner too, I think that, as one of my other teachers said before, you can love people from a distance, right? Because sometimes it's not good to always associate with people that might have some severe mental illnesses. I've been wanting to ask you about this because there's like quite a few people, even where I live up here, that have some pretty serious, I think, mental problems. And it's hard because I live in a small town. I have to see them all the time. And I have to be very cautious too, not only as a, someone who's trying to practice Buddhism, but also it's not always healthy to be around certain types of people. So I wanted to kind of ask you about that and how to handle those types, because some, have some severe, I feel like, psychological issues. And how do you handle that when you're faced with somebody like that all the time? How do you do that? That's my question for you. It's a loaded question. It's not easy.
Actually, you have to just know each situation, each person, what you need to do. Always we have to follow by individually, situations. No, cannot give you what you should do.
Yeah.
If there's something, Heather, do like this, don't do this. So I can tell you, but no, I don't know how to say that because it's very general.
Yeah, it is general. Yeah, I see what you're saying. So it's based on the individual, like how to handle.
Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. Individually, we have to handle.
Okay, yes.
I don't have one method for everyone.
That's true. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I see what you're saying. Okay.
Main point, you recognize impermanent, so then you're not really example like this kind of people, and you're dealing with it there. Sometimes you can be upset with them, can be anger arise to them. So impermanent, then you can control your anger, like upset because you see that person's impermanent, and so that helps you become your strong, and you recognize other too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It helps. It's like dealing with sociopathic people who are narcissists, and it can be very dangerous. Actually, they can be somewhat mentally dangerous people to deal with. So it's very challenging from a whole other level with my work. So I'm just been trying to navigate. Right now, things are fine, but it can be it's hard to explain, I think, on here, but it can be a little challenging even from a work standpoint. And then also just being in a small community, because then you're faced, I live in a town of not only 900 people. So, then you're faced with seeing these people all the time. So it's hard to maintain a distance and healthy boundaries, because that also is important too, I think. I don't know, but that's just kind of what I wanted to.
Yes, so long as we talked, impermanent meditation really can control
this.
You really have see the situation, then you have a wisdom, because longer stuck with a strong fixation attachment, because you have recognized, you impermanent helps you have a wisdom.
Yeah.
Then so what you have to, how to dealing with that situation.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so that your protection is impermanent. Then there's you go through all the many different kind of situations. So then you have to know how to dealing with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Vijay.
You have put the shoes already your feet, and then you know how to cross the river, or you have to jump or take out.
Yeah.
or on the walking on the road, put the shoes or not, what do you have to do,
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Vijay.
Melissa.
Kempala, thank you for these profound and wonderful transmissions. What is the relationship of this 4 foundation meditations to Mahamudra meditation? Do we consider it the 4 foundations, the foundation that is a base for Mahamudra, or are they related?
Both. I
Can,
can say both, yes.
can you say more about how they're related?
Related, yes. So you meditate precious human body, you recognize you have a nature, right? Buddha nature,
Yes.
Mahamudra. You meditate impermanent, you know you emptiness, so that is Mahamudra.
Ah,
Yeah. So you practice cause and effect, so then you know relativity and absolute truth is Mahamudra. So you meditate Mahamudra, you know you get a result. Goal is enlightenment. It's cause and effect too. Yeah. So that's all the relative, I think.
that's beautiful. Thank you. And Kampala, will you pray that I and all of us are never separated from you in our future lives, please? I pray for that.
Can you say again?
Will you pray that I and all of us are never separated from you in our future lives? I pray for that also.
Okay, so if we pray that, that means like we all become one mandala in the Buddhahood. That's our prayer, yes. Robika?
Thank you, and thank you for the teachings. I just wanted to make a comment about my understanding of unconditional love, and conditional love is that if I love you because I want something from you, that is conditional, or I expect something. But if I can love you with no expectations, that's more on the unconditional level.
Yes, yes. Yes. Thank you, Robika.
Thank you.
Yes.
Can I squeak one more in?
How long your question, Teresa?
I don't know. I guess you can tell me.
Okay.
So Heather kind of kicked open a door for me. Thanks, Heather. Kim,
You're welcome.
this is almost on an Alfred Hitchcock sort of level. You know, Alfred Hitchcock, the mystery horror writer. Okay, he's great writer of books and film. Really good, black and white film. Check him out. Anyway, what if you have a qualified Buddhist teacher, a Kempo or Geshe, okay, who is a narcissistic, maybe psychopath or sociopath? How do you kind of deal with that? Because on the front they're going to have is perfect, just perfect. You can teach this stuff. They've achieved it. Anybody ever thought about that?
So what is the Geshe's Kembos? What happened?
What if, like Heather was speaking, there's people she's around who are narcissistic and probably psychopath. I don't know, narcissistic tendencies. This is getting into diagnostic stuff, but with sociopathic traits or it's called I think it's anti psychopathic or sociopathic traits. So they only really care about themselves and what they get. I mean, they are the ultimate conditional, the ultimate transactional, because they're not capable of empathy, or they have empathy, but the empathy is only based in what things do for them. It's like, what if people were machines and the people they meet, they treat them well and they make them happy. But if it's a hot day and they want ice, the narcissist wants ice, and the person is an ice machine, they'll be just, great with the person when they get their ice, when they get what they want, that person and maybe what they need or the facts of their interests there's no bond between the two. There's no actual emotive. This gets into that question of our emotions good or bad, or is it our response to them good or bad? There's no reciprocity. There's no equanimity in that relationship. The narcissist gets their ice and they walk away. They don't have care what happens to that ice machine. They had no relationship with the ice machine. They think the narcissist thinks of people like that.
Mm.
And then I think you
Okay.
toss like,
Heather, hi Heather.
Heather, what you doing?
Yes, I'm here. Yes.
Thank you. So what has anybody ever thought, like the Kemples and the Geshes, the teachers that are qualified teacher, is it Pultro? Who he was like, I don't know, 19th century or 20th century teacher, and he came out with something about a book, My Perfect Teacher, something like that. So it's a qualified teacher.
Yes.
What about somebody who has these traits that are either damage or defect to the personality that just you won't see them? Like you get a covert one and you don't see them unless you're behind closed doors with them. Is that how?
Okay, so Teresa and
Tess, please, Kempo, Tess. Name says Tess.
Tess, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we think about the question. I cannot give you answer. I didn't get everything.
All right, I will write.
Yeah.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
You're welcome. So basically they can't feel, they have no ability, Rinpoche, to feel empathy. People of this nature, like it's usually a very self-serving situation, and it's sometimes it's from childhood or something that happened to them in childhood. And it can happen from all socioeconomic backgrounds, actually. But yeah, the people, these types of people usually either triangulate other people and involve other people to get something that they want from that person. They will do anything sometimes to do that. So it's kind of, it gets a little complicated.
I get it. So we meditate, everything's impermanent.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Yeah, that's it.
Somebody gets put in a position as being the guru Vajra master of a large group of people, and he's great, people think he's wonderful, but they don't know.
Mm,
And I'm kind of wondering about that.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Heather.
Yes, Lame.
Yeah.
Campbell, when you talk about what we are here is the past karma, and what we are doing is our future life. That's what you said. But I heard the other talking about the scary about samsara is not definite. I do very good. But if my karma ripen in the next life, I can become an animal, no matter how good I do. Is it true? They're saying, like, we cannot control when our karma ripen. How can we know that, like, in my personal life, I have a lot of difficulty, and I always thankful. Even now, when I practice Dharma deeply, I really thankful that I have the opportunity to learn from all this difficulty. But no matter how hard I work now, I heard Tibetan teacher told me that it's not guaranteed next life you will become human being. That's why liberation is very important. Is it true?
So you say karma is we cannot control?
We can control, but it's not the timing we can control. Like, no matter how good I do this life, not guaranteed next life I will become human. Maybe the many lifetime later I become human. But because my past lives, ignorant, everything, maybe my karma will ripen. In next life, I become a monkey. Or become a dog. I just like that talk when the Tibetan teacher say it, I was so scared because he said that's why samsara is so unpredictable, because we know it's cause and effect, but we don't know the
That's
timing.
why we talked already, defect of samsara, no attached to future life. Defect of samsara.
So the
Right,
defect of
Gain control, you know, like who practice the dharma and then that person is sure not going to reborn to animals. So that's why we practicing dharma. So that's Pema Sambhava says, future life is locked to our actions right now.
So how about the Buddha? The Buddha in many past life in his Jataka story, he was a deer, he was someone, and he was many kind of animal. So he must have done many good deed weapon to become a Buddha. So why he was in samsara and was in animal one?
So example, Buddha is like, think about the same as the country president. So the other Buddha is the same as the country's citizen. So you don't have to sacrifice same as Buddha Shakyamuni. So he is the country president like that, or the Buddha's president. We want to become citizens, so easy than president.
So, but the Buddha was in animal realm in the Jataka story, in the birth story of the Buddha. Many times he was in animal
That
realm.
means he can reborn that different realms and like benefit them each levels. He's not scared to reborn to animal realm. He's not scared to reborn to the impure realms.
So you are saying is that the Buddha, so you are saying the Buddha went to the animal realm not from his karma, but from his vow, from his good intention to benefit other beings.
So his accumulation is vast, the same as ocean. So he reborn there and he removed his karma, of course, too. And also he has the power to remove others' karma, like benefit for many other beings. So that's why he reborn these realms and like create all the different ways karma.
So you are sure.
Our goal is only liberation. You know, practice, meditate, go to liberate. We wanted to become citizen. So then you know, not necessarily think about a president, right?
Okay.
So Buddha is the same as the president. I told you. That's why he created accumulations the same as the auction in the West, and more engaging with like showing more activities.
So you still don't answer my question, Kambula. So will we be reborn to animal one next life? Even we try very hard not to?
So if you meditate, I don't think so. You have to reborn in the animal realms.
What do you mean?
What I mean, if you practice the Dharma, meditate, I'm sure you don't have to reborn animal realm.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So the main point is, Lame, you're not going to reborn animal realm. Because you practice Dharma.
My guru, thank you. My beloved guru, thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you everyone. Have a good day. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, Kim.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Kimberly.
Bye.
Bye.
Paula.
Everybody.